Okay, I want to welcome everybody to today's training. We are going to start from where we stopped yesterday. Please look, Yako, you are making marks on the screen. I don't think you need to deactivate that. So let's move this. Okay, I want us to start by inserting a column. The column where we're going to put our identification. So let's, just like what we learned yesterday, let's click column A because we want to insert a column ahead of column A. Our column will need to appear ahead of column A. So the column is selected, I right click and I click on insert. So I have my column ahead of the previous column. So let's name it as ID number. The ID number. So we talked about field, how to use field yesterday. So we want to go to 1 to 100. So instead of typing 1, 2, 3, blah, blah, blah to 100, we just click 1. Then we set our cursor at the field button. So when we have the plus sign at the field button, drag down. Up to the last one. So incidentally, instead of filling in series, it has only copied the first cell for us. So let's come to the dialog box beside the field button and select field series. So we want to change from copy cell to field series. So we can see at the point of clicking field series, we have our numbers 1 to 100. Awesome. So we've secured that. Then let's go through our data. Let's see their inconsistency in the data. For example, for ID number, let's do it column by column.
Excuse me, please.
Okay. You can ask a question.
Please, I didn't get how we
Fill.
We make the numbers to be serial.
Okay.
I'm able to drag down the column from 1 to 100.
Okay.
But to now make it serial 1 to 100 now, I can't do that, please.
What did it do for you? Did it copy? Did it show 1, 1, 1, 1?
Yeah, yes, till 100, yes.
Okay. So there is a dialog box. Look at it now. If you look at my cursor very well, there is a dialog box at the end of my 100. Look at the dialog box that is coming on and off. Do you have it on your system?
Yes, yes.
So click the down arrow. Look at where my pointer is.
Okay, I'm there.
So click it, click it.
I'm there.
Did you see these options?
Yes.
So click on field series.
Okay, done. Thank you.
Done. Awesome.
Yes.
So thumbs up from my end.
Thank you. Thank you.
Welcome. So let's move on.
Hello.
Maybe.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, this field, there's this field under the AutoSum.
No, I no bang.
Hello.
Okay,
Okay, is it Afolabi talking?
I'm sure I'm
Hello, can you hear me?
Okay, that's Afolabi, right?
No, this is Chidima.
Okay, thank you, Chidima. Please go ahead with your question.
Okay, there's this field under this AutoSum. I don't know if you can see it. If I click on that field, this down, right, up, left option, I don't know if you can throw more light on it.
Is it the same dialog box we were talking about?
No, where we have this AutoSum, immediately below the AutoSum, directly below the AutoSum.
Oh, okay, on the ribbon, on the menu.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the same issue. Okay, I hope that's where my pointer is. Can you see my pointer?
Yeah, I can see it.
So
What I'm trying to say, can
let's
we
click
still
it
use
now.
that option for the shortcut you're giving us here?
Yes, we can.
Because I tried using it yesterday, I was not able to get it with this field, but
Okay.
I was able to use the one you showed us.
Okay, oh, good. Before, let's come here now. I hope it will not have said that. So I'm on column R now. I want to have like number 1 to 10. But because I don't want to do back and forth, I first of all come to fill. On getting to fill, I click on series. If I click on series, it's asking me for detail. Step value 1. I don't have stop value, but step value, that is step by step, moving from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If I have the differences to be in multiples of 5, 5, 10, 15, I will specify the step value here. But this time I want it to be 1, 1. So I'll click it here. So when I come here, there won't be issue of doing duplication of cells for me, where I will now come down to come and change it to field series. Because before moving my field, I'd already programmed my field to series. Did you get my point, Chidima?
Yeah.
So before attempting to fill anything, I'll first of all come to fill. I click on series because I want all the field I want to have. I want it to be in series. I'll click on series and I set my series as step 1. Step 1 means that when I move from 1, the next one will be plus 1. The next one will be plus 1, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, up, down, like that. So I'll click OK. So when I come to R, this is where I want to have the list of numbers. So I'll click on 1, and I want to drag, I want to fill now. Okay, is still duplicating the cells for me. That means that is not continuous series or pattern into neighboring cells in a direction. Okay, please let's repeat it again. Let's highlight that column before selecting that command. So I've selected the column. Now I move to fill. I click on series. We have step 1, blah, blah, blah. I click OK. Then I return here again. I click 1. Then I fill. It's doubling it. Okay. So that means that it expects me to select from this option, the option where my pointer is. That's where it's expecting me to fill my options. So I'll still need to come to fill series. It has filled series for me. But let's also go back to that command. There's one thing I want us to toggle. There's one thing I want us to manipulate. So let's go to fill now. Click on series. Change the steps to 5. And series should be in row, in column. I want it to be in column, not in row. And I click OK. Then I come to S. I click on 5. Chidima, the next number is supposed to be what?
Okay.
The next number is supposed to be what? Because I've changed the step of my series to 5, the next number is supposed to be plus 5, which is 10. 5 plus 5 supposed to be 10. But it has doubled it for me. It's only doubling the cells. So let me go to autofill options and click on fill series. It's not applying the command. Let me go back. Let me change it to 5. Oh, okay. I hope we followed what I did just now.
No.
Okay, so let's go back. I just want us to, You know, like I said yesterday, I said everything that has to do with application, most especially Microsoft Excel, the more you explore it, the more you see new things and the more you learn about it. I will be sincere with you. I've never had any reason to have a feel of steps of 5 or differences of 5. I've always been using that, the method that I use, the one where I select from autofill options, this one that I'm talking about, and click on fill series here. So I've never had any reason to think of filling differences of 5. But today now, we can see from under that command that you ask question about, you can come to fill, you can click on series, and you can manipulate the step value. If you can see, I've highlighted under column R, I've highlighted numbers 1 to 14, which is confirmation of step value 1. Step value 1 means that differences of 1 in between the series of numbers. But you know, we can change it to 5. Instead of step value 1, we can change it to step value 5. So let me click 5 now. I'm changing my step value on this dialog box. I hope you can see where my cursor is. On this dialog box, I change it to 5 and I click OK. So everything that I highlighted had steps of 5 numbers.
Difference of 5.
Differences of 5. Does it make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So so one major thing we can learn from that angle, one major thing we can learn under that function is the fact that we can manipulate the steps. We can manipulate the steps of a number, the series of numbers that we have. We can do that manipulation. And if you can think deeper, in fact, if you look at all these options, you can do a lot of manipulation around all these options, all these series in, then type of series, whether linear, whether grow, whether date. It means that we can also have autofill for date. Peradventure, our record is 1 record per day. You can come and click autofill date here. When you start a particular date, you autofill. In series, it will just put all the subsequent dates in that order. So just autofill it for you. I hope we learned something from that function. Chidima?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. So can you just in a few sentences tell me what you have learned from that angle so that others can learn from you?
You mean the one you just talked about?
Yes.
For me, I think that fill option you just talked about is for differences, like when you're trying to get the differences of number in a column.
Yes.
Then you can use that option. If you
You
want to
can
get
click
difference
on fill option.
of 4 of any number you want.
Okay.
The fill option can serve.
Then please let me try to task you, beyond this training, you can take time out to highlight a series of cells and start to try your hands on other options under that command field. Because we may use the next 1 hour to start exploring it. Actually, that is where I learned. I went through each of those functions and I start to try, manipulate, and start mastering it. So that's where I learned on my own. And I will encourage you to do that as well.
So I have another question.
Please go ahead.
You know, you said if we want to create another column, a fresh column.
Okay.
We click on the column, we click on the column. We click on the column and then click on insert.
Yes.
And I noticed when we click on insert, we have the column towards the left.
Ahead of.
So, yeah. So what if I want the column after? Say maybe I want the column after height, or I want it after BMI.
So you go and click on the column where
Okay.
Let's say you want it between weight and height. So you click on height.
Okay, to now be before. Okay.
Yes, you click on height in order to have your column in between weight and height. If you want it to be between height and BMI, you click on BMI in order to have it ahead. Does that make sense?
Okay,
Have
yes.
I answered the question?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, so Chidima is learning. Others, please, you can take that challenge. Okay, after having done that, so I want us to go through our data, provided we need to clean one or two things. So because we need to, before we start working, we need to look at the consistencies of our data. I will teach us something now. Please look at me as I scroll. This is my heading on row 1. As I scroll, I realize I can't find the heading of my or the title of my variables anymore. So what do? There is a way I can freeze this first column. I can freeze, just the literal meaning of freeze. I can freeze the first row. I can freeze the first row, that's row 1, so that when I scroll, every other thing that I scroll will go under the frozen row. So this is where to go about it. You go to view. Now, first of all, you put activate the cell under the row that you want to freeze. We have intention to freeze first row, and we put our cursor, or we activate the cell below row 1. That is the cell on row 2. Then we'll go to view, because this matter has to do with about what we view. So click on view, then come to freeze. Under freeze, we have 3 options. Option 1 says whether we want to freeze pane. Second one says whether we want to freeze the top row, which makes it easier for us. We can just click top row. Either our cursor is under the first row or not. If you click freeze the top row, it automatically do that. But if you want to freeze pane, we need to activate the cell below the place where we want the pane to be frozen. So we will quickly practice it before we move too fast. So I'm clicking freeze top row. Bam. Let me mute this person. Let's keep taking this. Let's try as much as possible to mute our mic so that I won't need to move back and forth. Okay, so we can see the first row being frozen. So if I scroll down, you can see my first row is still frozen. Down, my first row is frozen. So even if I'm on record 100, I can easily identify the line, the column that is gender, column that is age, column that is religion, column that is ethnicity, weight, height, and what have you, conveniently. So that is where it is. It makes the work easier. So another one, let's freeze the pane, which many times we may likely need. So pane is talking about a situation where we need to freeze more than 1 rows, or where you need to freeze more than 2 or 3 columns. So let's assume we want to freeze row 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We will activate, we'll put our active cell or cursor in row 6. Then we'll go to the commands, freeze pane. We click, first of all, let's, okay, it wants us to first of all freeze, because we have one freeze command on. So let's unfreeze. So row 1 is on freeze, or is on frozen now. So let's now freeze pane. Row 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we click on freeze pane. we can see the line that demarcates the frozen pane. So in this case now, row 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 are already frozen. So if I scroll, everything I scroll comes under the pane of row 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that can be a situation where such will be needed. Okay. I want to turn the command, because what we actually need is the first row. So I'll drop that command. Let me unfrozen it. Okay, I've unfrozen it. So what we need is the first, what we need to freeze is the first row in order to make our work easier. So freeze top row, done. So I want us to, where am I going to? I want us to go through all our record in order to treat any of data that is not consistent. So the first one is column gender. On column gender, do we see consistency? There is consistency. There is no outlier. There is something in data science I will call outlier. Then column age, we go to column age.
Hello, sir, excuse me.
Okay.
So
I can hear you.
how do we determine the consistency? You are mentioning no outliers. How do we get that, please?
Okay, thank you. What determines your consistency or inconsistency is about the nature of the data you've entered. So let's say, for example, I got questionnaire from the field and I've entered all this data. I've entered my identification number, entered gender, entered everything. And I want to start to do my little data analysis with Excel. It is expected of me to, first of all, go through all over again to ensure that either myself or my subordinate or someone that I hired that entered the data for me has done the right job. So it is expected of me to go through each of the columns one by one. And what will determine whether my data is consistent with expectation is what my questionnaire has. For example, look at age. When I'm going through age, and I got to a point, I see age 3, age 2, age 3, 2, and 1. I know that such figures are not consistent with data that I gathered on the field. You got my point? So what am I expected to do?
Yes.
I'm expected to go back to the questionnaire with identification number 25, identification number up to identification number 36, and correct what, and look out for what is wrong and make the right adjustment. You know, the reason I said we should pay such attention in the area of data cleaning is because if you fail to cross-check, we may have a data that is as huge as 500 records, 500 questionnaire filled in. And unfortunately, we will not know, maybe pocket of 1 or 2 records are not consistent with expectation. We'll be running mean, we'll be running count, while we are getting wrong figure at the end of the day. That's part of the quality check in order to ensure that we have a data of proven integrity. Don't forget the background of all our discussion since yesterday is about having a credible data that is useful for analysis and that can communicate the reality of what we are looking for in our research tools. Have I answered the question?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
So welcome. So let's assume we have picked a questionnaire with identification number 25 to 35. And we realize that, oh, the person that entered the data supposed to enter 30, 20, or 22. But unfortunately, maybe he or she was in a hurry and he made a mistake. So let's fix the right one. Imaginary figure. Let's say this one is 33, this one is 22, this one is 34, 23, this one is 23, 24, 23. So please, if you are doing the same thing, you can quickly do this manipulation. Okay, so we'll go over it again. I know there's still some inadequacies. Okay, we can see a blank. This is a missing record. So when you see a missing record here, you go to look for questionnaire with identification number 69 and you get the right age. So let's assume the right age is 27. There is a better way, there is another better way of doing this thing, which is data visualization. But when we get there, I'll show it to you. But I want to encourage us to learn this the most basic before we run the shortcuts. Okay, so sorted. The same thing on our record. What are we expected to do? So we are expected to replace religion. Please, I want everybody to do this together. Let's change all our religions having this code number. Let's change them to words. So let's go to home and go to find and highlight the column. Then go to replace. We learned this yesterday. So under replace, we say change all 0. Find 0 in this column highlighted and change all zeros to traditional. Replace all. Then find 1 and change all I want to Islam. Please, I hope you are doing the same. Change all 1, change all 2 to Christianity.
If I can you go over this again?
Replace. Replace command, right?
Yes.
Okay. So let me just guide you. Highlight column D. Have you done that?
All right. Yes, sir.
Then go to find us and select. So under find and select.
Okay.
Select replace.
Okay.
So under replace, you click find words. So in that column we have code number 0, 1, and 2. And on our data dictionary, 0 stands for traditional.
Okay.
So instruct Excel to search for 0, find 0, then replace all the 0 with what?
Traditional.
Okay, so you can quickly do that. And click on replace all. Have you done that?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay. So I want us to go to data validation now. There is something called data validation, and the technique, the purpose of data validation is to further add value to the integrity of our data. Joanne, do you want to say something?
Yes, so the thing is, I'm lost. I don't know the command you're even teaching us on. So I don't know if you can actually come again because of me, because I'm really, really lost.
Have you opened your Excel?
Well, the thing is, I can't even transfer the Excel on my phone to the system right now, but then at least I can make figures on Excel here on the system. So if I can just know how to just follow through, I'll just be following you. But the thing is, I'm just lost, totally lost.
Okay. You know, please, against another time, whenever you have such difficulty, before the class, just highlight it. Sure, you get my point. And I will have maybe look for a way of helping you out. But all the same, maybe I will advise you wait for the video and go through the video in order
Okay.
to master that. You know the reason? This is
Okay.
20 minutes to 5. Or
Okay.
there may be, I'm thinking about having one extra class, of adding one extra class.
Okay.
So maybe probably next weekend.
Okay.
So maybe at that time, we may
Okay.
communicate deeper and further.
Okay.
So let's quickly move.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
So please unmute your mic. Mute your mic. So I want us to learn something about data validation. So what I mean by data validation helps us to restrict the data entry into a particular options. Like for example, let me look for one here. Okay, I want to click on find and select. Find and select is a command or is a function that has some other related instruction embedded in it. You can see it. So there is a way we can program each of our column to also have a pull down menu like this. It will have pull down menu, and the pull down menu will specify only the record that we want, or only the value, or only the text that we want in that particular column. Anybody bringing any value or text that is different from what has been specified will not be accepted in that column. Are you getting my point? Let's say, for example, this is religion. The column religion. You know, this thing works better for people that have large data to enter. Data of large variables to enter. Let's assume you have like a 500 questionnaire and you have about 100 variables. And some of those variables are not continuous variables. So if they are not continuous, what I mean by continuous are they are not like what we have underweight. They're not like 66, 63, 60, and what have you. So, but let's assume they are like male, female, male, female, male, female. Or they are like Christianity, Islam, traditional. You know, so you can set data validation command on that column, with which that whenever you get a particular cell, pull down menu, you have pull down menu, and you just click the option and you move. You don't need to start typing whether Christianity, or you are not waiting for suggestion. We are not waiting for Microsoft Excel suggestion. You just get there, click, and you move. Okay, so let's try a hand on one. Let me insert a column here. I want to have another gender. So let me call it sex. So by this column sex is going to be a mirror of a gender, but I want to use it to learn. Okay, so where do we find the command data validation? Data validation, where are you? Coming.
It's under find and select.
That's what I'm trying to. This thing is yes, it's under find and select. But there is a particular coming. Let me this thing. It's going to obstruct. Okay. So you come on that data on the menu bar. If you go to data, you can see data validation here. Did you get my point? You can see data validation here. So data validation has its own options. It's asking whether you want to do data validation, or you want to circle invalid data, or you want to clear validation circle. So by this time around, we want to do data validation. So. Let me select the column where we want the instruction. Then I click on data validation. So please, let's carefully look at the following options. He's asking us to set, It's also asking for input message. It's also asking for error alert. So on that column, we can set the values. Our values can be either male or female in this case. Okay, let's even make it 3 values. Male, female. Let's also suggest third value. Under sex, do we have third value?
Homosexual.
You got it. It's okay. I got your point. But let's create transgender. Okay. We'll fix transgender there as a third option. So, but after having seen that, there's another one, input message. As you go through that column, there can be a particular message that will be following the cursor, every movement of cursor around that column. That is input message. The input message you instruct, do this, do that, do this, do that. Then in case we have done something wrong, error alert will flash error that do this, what you are doing is wrong. So let's run through it together. Under settings, validation criteria, number 1, it says allow. So which value do we want to allow? Is it just any value? No, we don't want just any value. We want list of values. We want list of values. So what are the list of values that we want? So he's asking us that we should, he's asking for the source of the list of values. But incidentally, we don't have a particular source for now. So we need to create a source for the list of values that we want to insert. So let's go cancel it. And let's go and fix our value, the list of values in sheet 2. So in sheet 2 under sex, we can have male, female, transgender. Okay. So we have 3. So we have 3. So let's go back to that command. Data validation, any value, we want list of values. So he's asking us, what is the source of the list of values? Where is it kept? So we click PAM. So as he's asking for list of values, I'll go to sheet 2, where I have the list of values. You can see it is telling me that I'm on sheet 2. Then I will highlight the list of values. And look at the definition. It has highlighted the options. I mean, the identification, the address of those list of values. Sheet 2, cell A1 up to cell A3 is highlighted. Those are my 3 options. Then I'll go back to sheet 1. Then I click enter. It has taken it. So let's look at another side options. In this instruction, do we want to ignore blank? Ignore blank means that is it possible for somebody to skip that particular cell and decide that, oh, I don't have any entry for this particular cell? That is where you say blank can be ignored. But me, I don't want to ignore blank. I'm setting up a particular document that I'm sending to my subordinate on the field. I want all the values entered. I don't want missing value. So I'll deactivate ignore blank. Then he's asking us, do we want in-cell drop-down? That is, as I move from one cell to the other, do we have drop-down menu? Do we need drop-down menu? I said yes. It's checked. I want drop-down menu. That's sorted. Then let's go to input message. I want a message to be accompanied the movement of my cursor from one cell to the other. That'll be telling me what is it about that particular column or about particular cell. So the title will be attention. Now it's calling my attention to something.
Excuse me, sir.
Okay.
I didn't actually get how we
do that. I'll go over it again.
How we got the source. But I
go
was
back
following. Okay.
I'll go afresh. I'll go afresh again. But let's complete it. I'll go back again. So input message. So attention. Select from drop down menu. Please let's note all these stuff. Select from drop down menu. Okay. Then another thing, error alert. What is the error alert? What's the title of that error alert? Alert. Error message. Select from the menu. So I'll click OK. So here we are under sex. Three things we did. We did the setting about the list of values. Secondly, we put input message. We program input message. This is our input message. As you see my cursor on this cell, first cell, is also telling me about the input message. Attention, select from drop-down menu. That's input message. It's instructing me that I need to select from. I can't just bring my message from anywhere. So let's assume I'm here. Then I want to go and enter something about sex. Is the instruction, the input instruction is select from drop-down menu. Okay, let me drop down the menu. Oops. Error. That selected wrong cells for me. Okay, let's go back again. Supposed to select what we had on sheet 2. Okay, so let's go back again. But we need to re-specify the identification of the list of values that we want this thing to work.
I got it though. I was able to get male, female, and transgender on my drop down.
I also got it here.
Excellent. So thumbs up for all of you. So let's quickly get my own too. You can see
I think the mistake was because you returned it back to the sheet 1 before
before
actually
punching.
pressing OK. You have to leave it on the second sheet.
Yeah, I'm supposed to press my OK under the second sheet. Right?
Yes.
Awesome. So I select male. So I want us to have a picture in our mind. Let's assume we have quite a number of data to enter that we can program data validation for. You can imagine what will happen if you select male here, come under another next column. We select from the drop down, move to another column, select from drop down, move to another column, select from drop down, move to another column, select from drop down, move to another and select from drop down. Go to the second record, select from drop down, select from drop down, with which the frequency at which you touch your keyboard has significantly reduced. Am I making sense?
Yes.
You know that will seriously add value to our data entry strategy, and it will make our data entry faster. So in this case now, let me select female. Then the next option, I want to select transgender. But the fourth option, something happened, like I don't know the person that suggested homosexual the other time. So let's assume I want to type homosexual now. Is homosexual among the list? It's not. You can see the alert. This is alert message. This is alert message that we program. Is reminding the person entering the data, select from the menu. So I want to tell it again, no, homosexual is part of the option. I want to do some strong head. Homosexual, or maybe this thing is accepting only capital letter. I don't know if you are a data entry clerk, you must have struggled with system like this. This is this complaining. So I won't be allowed to leave. Then another thing, is it going to allow us to keep a blank? I didn't say that. So you're supposed not to ignore blank. So let me go over it again for the purpose of, okay, is it David? So let me go over it again. I think it was David that asked the question. Okay, data validation, we want to restrict the options of data that will be entered in a particular column. So we select that column, we go to data validation, we click on data validation. Then we go to settings, we want to set the data validation. Under the settings, it's asking us, what and what do you want me to allow? Besides list, you know, there are other options. We have time, we have whole number, we have decimal number, we have date, and we have time. We can use data validation to restrict the type of data that we enter into a particular column. If a particular column is titled time.
Your screen is blurred.
What do you say?
Sorry, your screen is blurred. It's blurry.
Oh, okay. Is it okay?
It's worse.
It is the network. It's not from your end. It's the network.
Is it from my own end?
No, it is the network. It's the network.
Okay, maybe from my end. Okay, maybe you need to exercise a little patience. Maybe the downloading strength of the network is poor. Okay, thank you for the information. So I'll go over it again. I'll select the column, go to data validation. Then what and what do you want me to allow? Is it list of items? Or is it anything decimal? Is it a whole number? Is it a date? Is it a time? Is it the length of a particular text? If I go beyond a particular length of a text, it should stop me. You know, all those things add value. Let's say, for example, under gender, the maximum length of text that I'm expecting is 6, which is female. So something like transgender will not be able to enter into this column. I can program it. So especially for people that develop a data entry tool, like a supervisor, MIE supervisor, or maybe you're a biomedical scientist or biomedical expert, that you want to develop an Excel tool for your subordinates to enter a particular questionnaire on the field. And you've observed over time that they are making mistakes with decimal points, or they are making mistake with, instead of having capital letter M starting your mail, you realize that there is a mix of M, small letter M, capital letter M. Instead of taking yourself through that trouble, you can set data validation on it, with which they will be restricted to select from what you have programmed. So in this case now, we are selecting list of values. So as we have selected list of values, it's going to ask us, what is the source of the list of that values? What and what are the list of values that we want to insert? So we need to select. As we selected, we move to sheet 2. We type the options in sheet 2. Then we click enter. And we have our options. So I hope I've made it a little clearer. So after this class, I'm going to share an assignment with us. The assignment, we will need to complete a number of stuffs on this particular. Okay.
No, this is Daniel.
Okay.
So that sheet 2, how did you go about it?
Sheet 2.
I'm not clear. Yeah, I'm not clear about it at all.
Okay. Okay, look at it now. I want to click on sheet 2. Can you see my cursor?
Yes.
So there is a plus sign here. If I click on this plus sign, it's going to add a sheet. If I click on the plus sign again, it's going to add another sheet.
No, that's not what I mean. I mean the information you got there, the male and female.
Okay. Before setting up my data validation, I'd already opened sheet 2 and I'd listed the values. I've listed the options. I came here to type male, female, transgender as only the 3 options that I expect to be entered in that column. So whenever I get to the instruction of select the source, I will just come to click on sheet 2 and I will select. You can select with your mouse, or you select by selecting the first one, press shift key down and press down arrow in order to highlight all the list of items that you desire. Then you press enter. Is it clearer?
Okay. Yes.
Okay. So you can try your hand on it. There is one thing.
Sir,
Okay.
I noticed that it's not that that command of ignore text is actually not working.
Ignore blank.
Ignore blank. Sorry, ignore blank. It's not working. It's not ignoring the blank.
It's not ignoring
Yes.
blank. I don't understand. I don't know the reason why it's not ignoring. The same thing on this side. So maybe I will need to find out after the class.
Oh.
I'll need to find out if I get anything new about it. I'll communicate with you. You getting my point? Actually, we are still pressed with time. I want to try as much as possible to be a little faster. Okay. I want us to learn something which I thought I was supposed to have talked about yesterday. So let's label this sheet. The same way we can save our document as Excel Quote 1 Practice 0705-2022. We can also name our sheets. Instead of having sheet 1, sheet 2, we can name the sheets. This sheet is for what should we name this sheet? Let's someone suggest a name for this sheet. Okay, so let's assume that you are working on a research, and on your research, you need to move from one local government to another local government. Or you are collecting a series of data in different months, January, February, March, April, May, June, July. So let's assume the data we have there, they are the data for the month of January. So let's label this sheet 1 as January. So you can bring your cursor, bring your pointer on the sheet. You can see where my pointer is. Then you right click. You see rename. As I click rename, we have the cursor blinking, expecting me to type January. Okay. Enter. So the identification of my sheets or my spreadsheet is January 2021. 2022. So let's assume after I'm done with the record for January 22, and I've programmed a lot, validation, different stores, formatting, and what have you. I've done it in the month of January. And this time around, this is month of February. Do you mean I will need to start reprogramming all over again for the month of February? Hello? Will I need to start programming all over again, programming my data collection tool for the month of February? No. What I can do, I can duplicate this particular sheet, January 2022. If I duplicate it, every command, every instruction, every formatting that had happened in the month of January will be duplicated into another sheet. Then I'll just do a little editing by deleting all the records entered here and label it as February 2022. So let me quickly do that. Please look at the place where my pointer is. My pointer is on the sheet identification name. I'll right click on it. Then look at the option. There's an option here that says, do we want to move this sheet or you want to copy the sheet? I'll click on move or copy. So it's not asking me, do I want to move it to sheet 2 or do I want to move it to the end of the last sheet? Or do I want to create a copy? So to me, I want to create a copy because duplication is what I'm working towards. I'm actually not planning to move the sheet from beginning to the end. I want to create a copy of this particular sheet. And if I do the copy, I want it to move to the end. So I select move to the end and I select move a copy, then I click on OK. So you can see another January 2022 at the end of the last sheet. So when I get here, I will just right click on it again and rename it as February. Enter. Then I'll come here, highlight all the record entered so far. Highlight all the record entered so far. I'll click delete. I've deleted it, right? But let's check whether the data validation under sex is still there or not. We can see that the data validation that we program under sex is still there. So we can use the same command and formatting for the month of February. Are we doing fine? You can see the instruction on fix the first row is still there. Everything is still there. So for the month of February, I can give it to my subordinate, go and enter all the data, or my feed worker. Go and enter the data. I've duplicated everything, instruction and format and settings that I have in the sheet January 2022. Did you get it? Any response? Just one or two response. Is it clear?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Okay, clear. Thank you. So next thing to do now, we want to go to measurement of central tendency. We did AutoSum yesterday, but let's do a little of a mean, mode, and median. This is age. This column age. We can do mode, mean, and median of all. You know, in research, whenever you want to report, when you want to discuss our data, that situation where we may need, especially if we have collected a continuous variables like age, we are not using age range. There will be need for you to report the median if the data is large, mean and standard deviation if we have something as minimal as this. So today let's do it. Let's work on this. So this is the way I do it. Some other person may have a better measure. So for this column, I will label it as a mean. So let's try to do something. Let's put a color. So where do we get the color? We want to take a team color. That's a team color for me. So this is the way I do it. So we calculate mean for age. So this is the place where we want the mean value to appear. double click on it. Then you write, sorry. You double click. When you double click, you see the cursor blinking. Press equal to.
Please, I'm lost. So
Okay, we'll find you now. So let's try to find you or to locate where you are. So what we are trying to do is to calculate mean, mode, and median for all the continuous variables on this spreadsheet. Example of the continuous variables we have here is age. So we come to the last line. We want everything on this row to be mean. So that's the reason why we type mean here. So after we've done that, we want to do the calculation of mean. We want Excel to do calculation of mean for us. Because we want the value of mean to appear here, so we select the cell. You double click. If you are with your system, you can follow me. You double click. As you double click, you see cursor blinking. Press equal sign. Mean starts with M. Press M. As you press M, you see options under function. Then you look for mean. I'm not sure if there is. Okay, what other word is for mean? Average. It's under SPSS that we have use of mean. Okay. Mean and average, are they the same or not? They're the same, right? So let's look for.
They are the same.
Thank you. Let's look for average. So we type A. What are we looking for? We're looking for average. So let's click on average. We selected average, then press enter. So there's an issue. It's not executing it. So let's ask, what is the concern? Invalid name error. Help on this error. Okay. So let's go through our data all over again. Excuse me. Okay. So it's expecting us to highlight all the cells that we want to add together and get the average of them. But we have not selected all those cells. So let's select all the cells now, or we specify. Look at the command here, average into brackets, number 1, number 2, blah, 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 blah. We're supposed to list it so that we'll be able to add everything together and get the average for us. So if you know the address, if you know the identification or the range number for them, we can specify. But in this case, let's assume we don't know it. So we want to highlight. From here. Put your cursor here. Drag down. Up to this point. Release it. So that's D2 up to D101. Then close the bracket. Press enter. The average is 22.6. Let me go back again. We want to calculate the mean. Let's double click. Press equal to sign. Select average command. Average function. press enter. It's not showing the value because we failed to specify the numbers that we want to calculate mean for. Okay, so
Excuse
go
me.
over it again.
Please,
You
sir, my
double click.
network
Hello, sir.
disconnected me. Oh, I didn't even get how you got the mean.
Okay, so let me run through it again. Then I'll take questions.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, so this is where we want mean to be. Double click, press equal to sign, select average command, or you double click. So it's opening a bracket for us to insert the identification of the cells that we want to add together to calculate the mean. So we go up. We want it to start from D2, all the numbers up to D101. If you can look closely, we can see it has already specified the identification of those numbers. From D2, full column, D101. Then we close the bracket. If you fail to close the bracket, it will not execute. So press enter. By the time we have open bracket, we have equal to average, open bracket, D2 up to D101, close bracket. That is when the instruction will be executed. You have 22.6. Okay, so your question. Your question.
So I didn't get how you got me. No, I got lost from that point.
Okay, someone said, okay. Okay, I'll go over it just for the last time. Okay, I want to calculate the mean. I'll double click, equal to, then average, average of what? Average of numbers. So let's open the bracket to specify the location of those numbers. Open bracket. So where are the numbers? The numbers are from D2. What you select D2. My cursor is in D2 now. I will now hold down and drag it down. Drag it down up to D101. That's the last number. I will close the bracket. I will press enter. It's just like the way we are doing mathematics, that will say cell, this particular cell is equal to average of into bracket, open bracket, numbers from cell D2 up to cell D101, close bracket, enter. That's the concept. So let's do the one for weight. We'll double click.
The average for weight?
Yes. Equal to average, open bracket. This one should be G2 to G101, right? Do you agree with me?
Yes.
That's the
Yes.
identification of those cells where we have all the numbers for weight. We're on column G. The first number should be on column G, row 2, up to column G, row 101. So capital letter G, capital letter G2, up to, if you want to say down to, if you want to talk about range, you indicate range with full column. Full column G101, then you close the bracket. You can see it has highlighted the cells. You close the bracket, then press equal to sign. 64.19. That is the mean.
Please, the average. Hello.
Okay, I'm with you.
The average, did you type it or from the drop down? Because I'm using the drop down and I'm getting something else.
Okay, I decided to type it. You can type it. You can type it. You can also select it. If you want to select it from drop down, that means that you need to double click it on the drop down. How many persons have done it? Have applied that instruction? You just let me see. Right? If you are able to calculate your mean successfully, just raise up your hand.
Yeah, I've calculated.
Okay, awesome.
I've done it.
Thank you. Okay, thank you. Thank you. So the next one, mode. That's the next line. So let's say M-O-D-E, capital letter M-O-D-E, mode. So mode will be here. So let's get a tip color for mode. Which color should we advise? Let's take this one, light color. So mode will be here. So let's double click. Let's double click again. Double click equal to mode, M-O-D-E. I hope that's the way the function is spelled. Open brackets. This one will be D2 to D101. D2, full column D101. Close the bracket and press enter. The mode is 23. So how many persons have done it? Did you get it? Did you get it, or do I need to go over it again? Okay, let me calculate mode for weight. For weight, double click the place where you want the answer to be. Double click, equal to sign, then type mode, M-O-D-E, open bracket. The location of the cells will be G2, full column, that is up to G101. Then close the bracket, then press equal to. The answer is 60. So how many persons got it? Raise up your hand if you got it. I list either of the two. Okay. Any other person? Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. So in 1 minute, did you see anybody who did not get it? You can mute and talk. Let's hear what the challenge is so that we can clear this. Do we have anyone who did not get it? Let me check the channels.
My laptop is saying this function is available for compatibility with Excel 207.
Yeah, I don't understand. Can you go over it again? Try the process again.
So this function is available for compatibility with Excel 2007 and earlier.
Oh, okay. Maybe it's talking about the software. Okay, in order to, what I would suggest is that double click and press equal to sign, and now press M and look at the options of function that it gives you and click on anything that looks like mode.
I'm seeing MOD.
Okay. That's all, MOD.
That one won't work. It won't work. That's not the mode.
Okay.
The MOD is not compatible with my system, with the one I have, with my Excel. Praise.
There should be a MODE, a complete MODE. It is the last one down there, MODE. It's different from the
Yeah.
MOD.
Okay, if you can locate the MOD, please try to do it. Okay, thanks so much. I appreciate the support. Okay, so let's add median to it. Median. So let's get a team color for it. Okay. So double click again, equal to MEDIAN. Open bracket, they specify the location of the cells. That will be D2 up to D101. Close the bracket, press enter. So you have the median. Double click on the cell where you want the result to be. Press equal to sign. Specify the name of the function. Open bracket. Select the range of cells where you have your numbers. Close the bracket, then press the enter key. Okay, thank you. Okay, so let's try to bust. I want us to bust the bubble of this function. So something happened, and I realized that all my questionnaires are supposed to be 101. And I need to insert a row. Do something here. Okay, as I just inserted a row, did anything happen to your result? Mean, mode, and median? Do you still have your result? Can someone just respond? Okay, I still have my result. So instead of going to function, I want us to use formula. So let's do use of formulas. Who can help us with the formula for BMI? Calculation of BMI. The formula for calculation of BMI. Hello?
kg per meter square.
3 what? Say it's like a weight.
Weight in kg divided by
by
height in maybe
height, the square
meter square.
of height.
Yes, sir.
So you can recall that BMI is not part of Excel's function. but we want to automate it. We want to insert the formula. Let's format this thing. Under the height, I mean the column height, we can see that we have errors here. For record client 26, instead of showing height, it's showing January 00. There's another one here. January 00. No, the reason is because maybe the format for that column is general. So let's try to restrict it to numbers. So has it corrected the error? Okay, the error is corrected. So there's nothing like January 00. Okay. Because if you fail to do that adjustment, it may affect our mathematics. So let's see, how do we...
I didn't get the adjustment step, please.
That I did, okay. Control Z. So can you see January 00? Where my cursor is?
January 00, okay. Under
you can see. Can you see it?
It's not, my own is not, it's showing number 1.65.
Oh, okay. My own is showing January 00. So in any situation where we have that.
Okay, sorry, I've seen January 00.
Okay, you've seen it here because I deliberately left it there. So that
I've corrected mine.
Okay, you've corrected yours. That's awesome. So let's format. That's part of the importance of formatting. If that column had been formatted to take only numbers, January, that happens to be a text, supposed not to have come in. I know that figure must have been entered there, number must have been entered there, but computer, out of his own artificial intelligence, is trying to suggest whether you mean date. So it's until when you format that you'll be able to restrict the pattern of the values that you enter. So you highlight the column, you right click, go to format cells, then you select numbers. That what you want in that place is only numbers. You don't want text like January. So press OK. So scroll down. It has changed January 00. January 00 is for record 26. It has changed it to 1.70. So 1.70 was the actual number that was entered previously. But because there was no formatting, it decided to like trying to advise us whether we are the one not feeling fine. Okay, let someone try to suggest to us. We want to decide the formula for BMI is weight over the square of the h raised to power 2, height raised to power 2. And we want to insert formula so that Excel can calculate BMI for us automatically. We don't need to punch computer. We want Excel to do the calculation for us. So who can help us out?
I think we have to create.
Should we try something? So I double click, equal to.
What's the formula again?
You know, the formula is weight divided by height raised to power 2.
Weight in kilogram or height.
The value we have here, is in kilogram. The height we have here is in meters.
Weight over height.
Weight divided by
weight
height
over height square. Height raised to power 2.
Should I type it? It's okay. So let's quickly move. What to do is equal to, I'll select weight. I'm selecting the identity of weight, which is G2. I'll type divided by, that is a /. Then I'll click height. If I click height, how am I going to do raised to power 2? So let's behave like as if we are doing trial and error. So I click height. In computer programming, there's something called caps. Do you even have caps on this computer? On this keyboard? Anyway, that's the advantage you have in SPSS. SPSS has some functions that Excel is still limited in. Yeah, okay. There's caps here. So please look at my formula. Is it going to work? Are we thinking?
So how did you create the?
That's supposed to put,
Yes, it works.
that's supposed to put my height inside brackets before putting caps too. Caps means raised to power.
I know I tried something like that, but it was giving me like errors.
I tried it, it worked.
It worked like this, right? Okay, let me press enter.
It worked.
Are you sure? Oh,
Yes,
yeah,
it
let's
worked.
do it manually. Yeah, let someone do the mathematics manually. 66 divided by 1.62 raised to power 2. So what's the answer?
$25.14.
So we are right. Let's clap for ourselves. So that is it. So that's the formula.
Hello,
for BMI.
please, where did you get
It's
Mr.
not clear,
Tolulope?
please.
Yeah, so
Hello, please, where did you get the raise to power?
it's on the keyboard.
Shift, your shift 6.
You press shift key down, then you now press button 6. Have you done it? So that we can clap for you.
Copy.
Done, Abby?
Oh, okay.
Hello, excuse me.
Okay.
My own result here is different.
Okay.
I got 81.4.
Okay, so that means that maybe something is wrong. Okay, come and look at this place. I'm on that particular cell where the result is. So look at the definition of the formula. Look at the formula where my cursor is. So just double click, press equal to sign. Then you click on G2, cell G2. Then press /, which is divided by. Then you now click on cell H2. Then press caps, which is raised to power 2. And just click enter and press enter. Enter key.
Are we to format it into 2 decimal place?
We can do that. We can adjust the decimal place to 2. Oh.
Yes, I'm there. I got it.
You got it. Oh, wow. Wow. That's good. So, we've only done for one. We've only done it for just one record.
We've only done it for just one record.
Hey, somebody is doing magic there.
Hey, somebody is doing magic there.
What?
Let me mute everybody.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's come back to the one we did successfully. We can use autofill to transfer this formula down up to the last record. You agree with me? So let's do that. So let's move our cursor to fill button. Let's hold it down. We are dragging down the formats. We are dragging down the formula. Let's see if it works. Wahoo. Did you get it?
So please, I have a question.
But have you tried this? To fill it, to fill other cells?
Yes, it worked.
Okay, so ask
Yes, it worked.
Ask your question.
Okay, so why G2? Why do you use G2 instead of using the normal G?
And G2 is the address, is the identification number for the first record, the first cell under weight, while H2 is the first record under height. Did I answer the question?
Okay, yeah, now I understand. But I tried it on my system. I'm seeing what's coming out there is name, hash name with question tag.
That means there's an error somewhere. So maybe just
So
go
please
through the steps again carefully.
So please, I did not get it.
Okay,
How
okay,
to
German, you
replicate
get it.
the yes.
Okay. Let's create a new column. So we'll try it again. Just one more time.
Hello, can I ask?
Please ask question.
Hello.
Yes, please go ahead with your question.
Okay, when you were dragging down from the cell I2, right?
Okay.
When you were dragging down all the way down,
okay.
I believe you did. How did you drag it down? You didn't drag with that that sign by the bottom. Maybe you just dragged it down like so that it can reflect on the other cells.
No, I drag it with the autofill button.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Have you tried it? Did it work? Has it worked?
Yes,
so,
copy.
Okay, thumbs up. So, Ijoma, let's try it again. BMI, you double click. You press equal to sign. You click on the first data, which is G2. It will automatically display inside our result cell. Then press divided by. Then press on height. That's the first record or the corresponding record. It shows H2. You can realize that the cells that we selected are still active. Then now press Shift key down. Then press button 6 that has a caps lock. I mean, that's caps. That's raised to power. Then you press 2. That is G, which is weight, divided by H, which is height, raised to power 2. That's the formula for BMI. Then you press enter. We have our answer. So if we want to fill other cells under this column with this formula, we want to do with this formula, you just bring your cursor down to the fill button. When you get to fill button, it will reduce your cursor to 18 plus sign. Then you hold your mouse down and drag. So we stop here. We have our results. So you can try it. So let's come to column R, where we have AST and ALT ratio. I'm very sure this should be easy for us to do, right? So let's run it together. AST-LT ratio, you select the result cell, you double click, you press equal to sign. AST, you go to first AST, which is 16, and that's M2, divided by ALT, which is N2. You press equal to, and that's the answer. What are we looking for? We're only looking for ratio. So because we don't want to waste our time, we have up to 1,000 questionnaire field. Because the computer, Excel, fill other cells in that column with the same formula. So bring our cursor to the fill button and drag down. So raise up your hand if you have done your AST-LT ratio. Oh. Awesome. Yeah, thank you. Others, Alpha. Okay, good. That's good. You have any other person? Chidima, are you still with us? Daniel, have you done it?
Yes, I've done it.
Awesome. I'm happy to.
Very fine, thank you.
Okay. So if you want, if you know what to do, you want to choose your, this one is like 0.000 and stuff like that. If you want to reduce it to 2 decimal places, you just highlight the column, right click, go to format, select number, then go to decimal place. Decimal place is set at 2. That's what you want. Then click equal to. So it automatically reduces it to 2 decimal places. Okay. So the last thing we'll do, okay, second to the last. Data visualization. So let's try to represent our data on graph. So which graph do you advise to plot? So let's plot, I want us to plot one categorical against continuous variable. So let's plot male, female. Let's plot it against age. So we'll keep them side by side. So I want to delete sex. So I want to delete sex. I want to delete column C. So that we have columns side by side.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
That's extra. I wanted to ask you a question, yeah, but you have deleted it, yeah.
Oh, okay.
But can I go ahead?
Please do.
Okay. Like now in SPSS, there is a way whereby you can type value and the particular information on that drop-down box will come out. Like now, for male, you see that male has a value of 1, female have a value of 2, transgender have a value of 3. So, like in SPSS, you can type, once you type 2, it will decode that 2 is for female.
Yes.
So, but this one now is not corresponding, it's not working as that of SPSS. So, but can we use that? Can it occur like that in this Excel?
No, we can't run it like that. Do you want us to do training on SPSS?
Yeah, I like it. I want it. It's an upgraded version of Excel.
Okay. So maybe we'll talk about having training on SPSS. SPSS is a senior brother to Excel. Talking about data manipulation, it makes quite a number of stuff easier. Our software is their senior brother. So, we advance little by little until we get there. So, but in this case, is we can't do that data transformation. We can't do that transcoding like that. We can only do the we can only manage the data validation and select from drop-down menu and have our data. Okay, so let's we want to plot. Okay. We want to plot gender against age. That's column B and column C. Gender against age. So let's select. So we select our variables. I press Shift, then I block it out. So I want this data to appear in data visualization format. So after I've blocked that, I'll go to, where do I go to? Insert. So under Insert, I can quickly find the recommended data. So which data is Excel suggesting for me? Excel is suggesting bar charts. Can you see the graph of their ages? This is plenty. Is indicating the age for each and every one of them in bar. Okay, let's work with only 10 of our data. Actually, that's the reason why whenever we want to do data visualization, is advisable to box age, continuous variable, into categories so that we can have a reasonable visuals. So let's select only like the first 5 or the first 10. So we want you to plot age against gender. So this is what is suggested to us. These are individual males and their individual age. You can see it. So if you click it, it will display. So it's telling us that the horizontal axis is for gender, while the vertical axis is for age. Many times the continuous variable will be on the y-axis. So we want to manipulate this. Okay. People that are raising up their hand, you can talk, please.
Sir, come again on that graph.
Okay, on the graph. Okay.
All right, sir.
So I want to represent my data with graph. So I will select the data that I want to represent with graph. So I want to represent the first 10 data with graph. So I will block it against their title. So please look at it. Shift and arrow key. Press Shift down, then move. So I have my first 10 data, which I want to use graph to represent. Then I'll go to Insert. I want to insert graph. So ideally, Excel will always suggest graph pattern. But if I don't want to follow the suggested pattern, I can select from all these other graph options. I can even select map. Though you can select map if your data is about location that can be found on the map. I've done it before. Let's assume we have record against different countries. So we can have that one done. Okay, so let's select this one. Recommended graph. So it's giving us these options. So if you are comfortable with this option, we just press OK. So when we press OK, it displays a graph for us. So if you want our graph to look a little beautiful, you can come to chart styles. Look at it. The chart styles are up here. You can press the down arrow and go through different options, the one that you may like. Different options. This option shows the value at the edge of each of the bar graph. So you can have something like this. Okay, if you are not too comfortable with this, you can also look for another format. Okay, you can change the color. You can come here to change the color. You can change the color here. Change the color. Let's this. So we can add, okay, we can add, look at the other options we can add. As we select the chart, we can click on plus sign. There's a plus sign here, which has the chart element. If you click the chart element, you can check axis title. We can see the axis title shown here. Let me click it. This is axis title. That is, we want to put the title of the vertical axis. Or you want the data table. I've checked the data table. You can see data table appear under all the graph. Or you want grid line. You can click on grid line. Grid line is there. Or legend. You can see the legend age. And see, that's where my pointer is. Or trend line. You can see the trend line. Shows that the ages is on upward trend from client number 1 to client number 10. The increase in age or the differences in age is in upward trend. You can see the dotted arrow lifting a little steepy. You can also change the color. You can change the color for this one. Color, where are you? Where are you? Where are you? Where are you? So you can change it to red or change it to blue. You know? Like that, like that, like that. Then you can also, you can do a little of styling. This is a style. This is a style. This is a style. Or you can filter. Maybe you don't want one of the axes to show, or you want another axis to be there. Anyone you uncheck here will disappear. Then you have whatever you want. Can we represent it with pie chart? Let's represent it with pie chart. So let's click the option of pie chart here. Okay, you can't show against, you know, we have two records. So if you want pie charts, it's going to show pie charts only for one category of data. So we'll practice that one. Excuse me. So we want to practice pie chart. Let's say pie chart for the first 10 entries for age, just one type of data. Then click on insert, pie charts, click pie. So data one, you can see it like this. So but if you want the figure to appear on it, something like this. It's even calculating the percent, it has calculated the proportion itself. So we can have the proportion of each of these data against the total sum, as the case might be. You can also come here, look at the plus sign here, which has the chart elements. You can click anyone. You can click anyone here. So these are the things we can practice until we master. So, questions? This is 6 o'clock.
Oh, you made mention of an assignment. How are we getting that?
I'll put it on our WhatsApp platform.
All right then. Thanks.
Okay. So how many persons? Okay, ask a question, please.
Yes. Please, which how will I put it now? Which version are you using? I'm using 2010. Some of the functions you are showing to us is not here.
Okay.
Which version are you using?
I think it's 2010. Oh, 2019, Jerry. Office.
Oh,
2019.
okay. Thank you.
But nevertheless, you can still try. You can look around for it, at least something close to it. You can find something close to it.
Using 2016.
2016 should have it, have it?
Yeah, it does.
Okay. Okay, Ijoma, what's SPSS? Okay, SPSS is one of the data analysis tools that we can use to analyze data. We can use it to do some of the stuff we are doing presently. You know, like we said, bringing data from the field is not as important as when you are able to make sense of it. If you look at this case now, look at this particular bar chart. You know, you can see the trend here. Let's assume we have case where we want to study what happens between January, February, March, April, May, June, July, up to October. And you have entered the value. And you now plot your graph against months. You plot the entries against months. And you want to know whether that is maybe that, let's say you're a business person, or maybe somebody, you want to evaluate that somebody is gaining weight or the weight of that person is reducing. Maybe that person is visiting your gym. You check the weight in January, check the weight in February, or the average weight in March up till October. And you plot it like this. And you want to check the trend. You know, if someone is coming to your gym with the expectation of, what do we call it? Watching weight or something like that. With the expectation of having reduction in weight.
Losing weight.
Losing weight, thank you. With the expectation of losing weight. And you now have the graph like this. If you have the graph like this without this trend, you will not appreciate very well until when you go to chart elements and you click trend line. When you click trend line can now show you with all these mix of values, this thing is going upward or is going downward. I use this thing a lot when it comes to continuous quality improvement data. I want to know whether my team is doing well about our expectation. Trend helps a lot. You know, you're this dotted line. If that dot steep up, it means it's upward. If it steeps down, it means that it's downward, depending on the objective of what you are using it for. So all those stuff are critically important. Then there's a way we can mix. We can have 3 values. We can have a combination of graph, combination of line graph and by chart. So that's the situation where you go to, let's select 3. Okay, come. Select 2 continuous variable with 1 categorical. Okay, let me hide. I want to hide this column. Let's learn this one. So I want to plot gender, age, and ethnicity. or I want to plot gender, age, and weight. So the two columns in between, I don't need them, so I can hide. So let me highlight them. Excuse me. Then right click, look for the command hide. So the two columns are no more there, they are hidden. So I can select the first three entries. Then insert graph. And I want combination of graph. I want one to be continuous graph, line graph, while the other one is bar charts. So I'll come to select combo, that is combination of two types. Then I select this. Is it working? It's not answering me. To create a combination chart, select at least 2 series of data. Select it. Okay. Come. Yeah, it's put. Good. Unusual. So is anyone following me? Can you try to use combo? Let me know if the issue is with my software. Okay, let me go to, maybe because the data, maybe because parts of the data are engaged already. Category. Okay, let me hide this one and use ethnicity. So let me plot religion, ethnicity, and weight. So I want to believe it because I've engaged that data on another graph. So all charts, combo. Yeah, this is what I expected. So all charts combo. Then that at the point of combo is going to ask me which of this one do I want on secondary axis and the one on primary axis. So I want yes, I want it like this. I want it like this. So I want ethnicity. This is this side where my pointer is the secondary axis. Where this side is the primary axis. In a situation where you are plotting entries against percentage, your percentage can be on secondary axis, while the data that has been inputted will be on your primary axis, and your what's it called will be on the x-axis. So you can have something like this. So the line graph is for weight, which is using, excuse me, which is using the primary axis, while the bar chart is for ethnicity. So the two variables were plotted against religion, Christianity, Islam, blah, 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 all stuff. So you can filter on this graph, you can filter in the course of your presentation, you can filter, let's assume you don't want ethnicity to show. Let's uncheck it. So if you copy it from here and move to, let's say to, what's it called? To PowerPoint. So when you get there, you can uncheck this. That line will disappear and it will show only this one. And if you want it again, you click it on over again. So maybe we'll talk about that one the next opportunity we have. Okay, please ask a question. We have just about 5 minutes to round up so that we don't overshoot that time.
Lisa, how did you bring back the columns that you went to hide initially?
Okay, so let's do it now. I want to hide column D and E because I don't want somebody to see it or I don't need it. So I right click, is hidden. So you can see between column C and F, you can see something that looks like transparent line.
Yes, sir.
So if I bring my cursor or my pointer close to it, you can see the sign is showing sign of arrow to the west and to the east with 2 lines in between. Can you see?
Yes. Yes, sir.
Okay, so let me move to this place. Do you see something like that there? Is it the same?
No, sir.
Yeah. So when you bring it here, that place where gaps is located, you just right click and click on hide. It opens it up. Ijoma, let's have a question.
Please, I want to ask, it's kind of different from what you're doing here. It has to do with, let me say you're typing something on a cell.
Okay.
And it doesn't continue, like it doesn't accommodate on that cell. Then how will I put it now? Okay,
Yes,
it doesn't
go on.
accommodate right horizontally on that cell. Then it begins to drop down. Like let me say you're typing ethnicity.
And
so
now
that's
the height of the cell.
now CITY now comes below. Yeah. Are you getting?
Yes. Very well.
Okay, so if you want it to like extend on that line, like everything just be on
straight
one,
line,
how do you do it? Yes.
You increase the width of that column.
Of the column, okay.
I hope you know how to, we've talked about how to increase the width.
Yeah, okay.
Just double click and it will adjust itself. Okay. Can we call it a, do you desire to have 1 hour additional class next weekend?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Are we paying for it?
No, you are not paying any addition.
I'm game.
Yes, thank you.
Okay. So the reason why I want us to have that is between now and tomorrow evening, I will share an assignment. So I want us to, for example, now part of the assignment will be like, if you can see, I will tell you to plot a graph. Then I will tell you to set a formula for albumin and globulin ratio. And I will also ask for another thing for you to set formula for. Then I will ask you to do 1 or 2 things in this place, especially about plotting graph and do a little adjustment. So I want you to do it and maybe send it to my email or something like that. I will specify how to get it across to me. So we'll go through it. And when we now come back on maybe Sunday evening, we will address it together. Then at that point in time, we're expecting you to be asking questions. So maybe in the course of your practice, whether you have some challenges or something of that nature, so that we address that one. And that will be the last class. That's number 1. Then number 2, do you want us to have Excel training? I mean, SPSS training.
Yes, sir.
It's going to be basic, because the Excel we did that is basic. I can understand how heavy it is for people that are not that conversant with it. Learning is a process. Move from one level to another level to another level. So we can do some basics of SPSS, with which you'll be able to do like a mean, mode, and median. You can do frequency without going through a lot of rigors of formula. Then we can do how to code, just like the one we were talking about the other time, how to code data into 1, 2, 3, 0, blah, blah, blah. Then we can also do a little of cross-tabulation. I don't know if you can do t-tests, maybe. You can do a little of t-tests, a little of one-way ANOVA for comparison of mean. So I'll do the assessments and I'll get across to us. So how many persons are interested in SPSS? Okay. Only 2 persons, 3. Okay, we will not mind the cost though. The cost will be a little more expensive than this. That's number 1. Number 2, I don't know if in case you don't have SPSS on your system, I will advise that if you are going to participate, that you need to put SPSS on your system, or I will teach you how to install trial version of SPSS on your system. That's just the one. Excuse me. Supposed to